I'm Justin Bilby, Vice-Chancellor of Torrens University and Academic Director of Think Education. And I've been a researcher for nearly 30 years. I actually started my research career with Indigenous health, then moved through chronic illness, primary care, community care, but I'm now currently working in a really fascinating space, working in the aged care sector. My major focus at the moment is looking how we might deliver and change the models of care for how we deal with aged care people, both in urban and rural environments, into the future. We really haven't got it right now. We still haven't got the right models for the future, and we need to try and bring them together, look at how you book a global management of people as they get into their 60s, 70s and 80s, and give them a proactive, healthy life right the way through to when they die. I'll probably use this as the best example. We worked in Port Lincoln in rural South Australia with a team based across from both rural community, rural health practitioners, local government and then universities in Adelaide at that time. We looked to try and develop a new musculoskeletal intervention for people with arthritis in the country. We got some money to do it, we put the team together. Beautiful project. The academics did the work, it all started to come together. We had a model that we could actually roll out with the physios and the OTs in Port Lincoln. And as you all know, there's not enough services in the country, so you try and find a model. And guess what? It failed because we couldn't find the long-term funding to sustain it. We couldn't find simple things like sustainable, non-private based funding to provide a new service for people with musculoskeletal problems. Fantastic piece of research on the ground, but sometimes you've just got to test these waters in a research environment to try and move the knowledge base or the policy framework on. So the current work I'm doing is working with ageing, frailty, and you've seen Rachel talk about our project together. We're working with 3 other universities. We're working with the aged care sector to deliver that. We're working with politicians, ex-politicians and policy people. So the learnings with research to me is very much around, this is what I've learned over 30 years, you build the team around it, both government, industry, health, academics, research students, higher degree students, undergraduate and postgraduate students. It's about the team. You can't solve the big problems anymore without having teams. And that's the bit that I think we're building beautifully at Torrens as we put teams together. Research is about improvement in knowledge and growth of knowledge. So for all the years of my research over the last 25 to 30 years, I've always tried to end off the end point, whether it be a small change in clinical care or a small change in policy, small change in how you deliver our teaching to students. It's about small changes to move the knowledge base onward. That's what research is all about. That's the bit I have a real passion about. Every bit of research we do in the university, whether it be higher degree students or our academics, is about moving the knowledge base slowly on. It's about the growth of knowledge, it's building the knowledge as we go forward. That's what we're on about as a university, that's what we do across Australia. And it's a small incremental change, whether it's published or debated or discussed at a conference or debated internally. So when we look at new pedagogical innovations, for example, the discussions that are happening around micro-credentialing and how you deliver education differently into the future. It's about moving the knowledge basing on, having the debates, building the teams, looking to the future, but enriching the society we're part of. Here for Good is about making change. It's about looking at situations differently. It's about working with groups that need to have greater access to education. Research is about building on that. It's about providing access basically for people who haven't got access to different services. Some of the work we're doing and again I'll focus on the aged care sector, it's about making their lives much better, much richer, much happier, much more proactively in a positive health and wellbeing perspective. That's about where the Here for Good fits in. We will always have a Here for Good DNA. Our research will build off that. We're doing some really beautiful work starting to look at how B Corp or B Lab can become part of that research agenda from a business perspective. The clinics we have, the wellbeing clinics, should be research environments where you look at different interventions for patients who might benefit from different ways of looking at healthcare. The same with our restaurants, the same with our hotels. We're doing currently supervising a HDR student, a higher degree student I should say, who wants to bring robotics into a hotel. Really interesting model to play around with to try and look at how you move the access, improve the efficiency, deliver services in a different way. It's just plain exciting. It's just testing different models to improve the knowledge base to move forward. Oh, that's easy. It's just going to get bigger and bigger and better and better. What we'll probably begin to do, I think, is strategically focus on our 3 major research areas, which we've talked about previously. It'll grow momentum, we'll attract more PhD students, more master students, more academics who want to work in that space. The culture will grow of the importance of research, and we'll gather more and more staff, both people who are currently with us who want to develop their research careers, but people who will be attracted to us to work across research in Torrens. I've said this before, however, we're part of a global network which we'll also use to build our research direction into the future.